I'm gonna do a top five. Top five running backs in the NFL. These are current running backs that are playing right now. So the way we're gonna do it is I'm gonna say my top five. And listen, top fives are really hard. Top tens, easy. Top fives, it's a different beast because there's a lot of good players. And I thought it would be easy. When we were talking today, I was like, running backs, because when you think running backs, there's probably one or two names that pop up in your head. You're like, these are the best running backs in the league. But then when you start looking at names, you forget about like, oh man, these other guys are actually pretty good. So this is what I got. And Dave and Brian are going to critique me and grade me on this. You guys ready?
Ready.
I have one question. Are you putting these in order? Like number one is this guy. Number two is this guy. Okay.
Yep.
Just for fun, I'll put them in order. And I am taking into account injuries as well, just because that does affect stats. But we can't forget their talent either. You'll see what I'm talking about. So, top five running backs. Number one, CMC, Christian McCaffrey. You can't. I mean, the guy. I was looking at stats, rushing wise. He is not the top rusher in the last 5 years, but when it comes to rushing and receiving, he's got it hands down. It's not even close. So I got CMC 1. Number 2, Derrick Henry. Number 3, Josh Jacobs. Number 4, Nick Chubb. And number 5, Jonathan Taylor. That's my top 5 current running backs in the NFL.
All right, you want me to go first, Dave?
Yes,
you can't have Nick Chubb. The dude has one leg.
I know.
His knee bends the wrong way.
I understand.
One leg. Actually, your list isn't too bad because I had CMC, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Josh Jacobs, and Jonathan Taylor. Those are my top 5 just with play calling and what they do. And like you said, health-wise, Kamara he was suspended for the first, you know what I'm saying? So he had it. But so your list was, but bro, I'm not gonna lie, you putting Chubb in there, dude has one leg. So I mean your list was actually pretty close to mine. Order was a little off, so I'll give you a B+.
Dave, what do you got?
All right. First of all, I knew. Okay, and this was my question: let me ask you this: how did you base these? We know why you picked Christian McCaffrey for number 1 is because you're in love with this player and he won you a championship this year or last year fantasy. I get that, but everyone else, are you going on stats or like what are your thoughts? Because
like for me, I'm going on stats, but I'm also going on game plan and usage, or like even a decoy. Like when Derrick Henry comes in on the goal line, you know what's going to happen. They're gonna run it down your throat. But like Jonathan Taylor, like when he wasn't being used, did nothing. Like the team did nothing. Then when they realized he was Jonathan Taylor, the Colts took off last year. So that
played like 10 games last year.
Right, because in the beginning they didn't do anything. Then they put him in, and he was like they were lights out, the Colts. So I mean, it's an opinion thing anyway. I mean, it's just kind of how you feel. But that was what I was basing it on, not just stats, but like what do they do for the team.
All right, Bobby Drew. So Christian McCaffrey. All right, agree. What about Derrick Henry? Okay. What were your other picks? Give me your order again.
CMC, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Nick Chubb, and Jonathan Taylor. So
I'm giving you a C+ because I'm giving you a C+ because you frustrate me and I'm the teacher giving the grade. So that's what you get. All right. However, I hope I get the first pick in the draft this year.
Who would you take? I mean, you have the first pick, so it don't matter if you have the first pick. Who would you take, Dave?
Yeah, Dave, who you taking?
Jalen Hurts?
Patrick Mahomes?
No, I'm not. No, listen, I'm talking about the first overall pick.
That's what we're asking. Who would you take? Who would you take?
See, I want to say Christian McCaffrey, but you know what? I got a
He'll get hurt,
feeling.
right? Yeah.
I got a feeling I'm going to do that, and he's going to have like this last season was like a one-off.
Yeah. It was the
Jesus.
first year he was healthy all year. Yep.
But I don't know, man. I don't know. What about you? You didn't bring up anybody like who's the running back for the Rams?
Kyron Williams?
Kyron Williams.
Because he's not my
What?
top 5. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
if you have the top 5, explain why his list is silly. Tell him why you got a C+.
Well, I'm looking at the guys that were like 1,000-yard rushers that only played 12 games.
Yeah.
You know.
What now, Bobby?
Huh? Yeah. What now, Bobby Drew?
Kyron Williams.
Kyron Williams.
So you would rather have Kyron Williams over Jonathan Taylor?
Yes.
Over Nick Chubb in his one leg, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, I take it back. Over Nick Chubb. Wait a minute. Who's his quarterback? Dak Prescott or what's the other guy? Stafford.
Well, Dak Prescott could be his quarterback if the
That's what I'm
Cowboys are
saying.
wrong. Yeah.
Let's see. Nick Chubb versus.
What about Raheem Mostert?
He's not top 5.
He's not top 5?
No way.
No,
Because he's got a running back that runs just as much of him on his team, A-Chain.
A-Chain?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he still runs a 1,000-yard season.
Bro, ain't nobody saying he's in the top 5. I'd give you a D.
No, stop it. First of all, Brian, we're not grading me. We're against Bobby Drew. Right now, me and you are supposed
Okay,
to be
fair
picking
enough,
up
fair
together
enough.
against Bobby
His list
Drew.
was terrible when he put a one-legged running back on there. So he
D
just
plus.
yeah.
I felt bad
Listen.
for Chubb, man. I watched that
Listen.
video over and
Yeah.
over again. His leg bent in the wrong way.
I mean, it was brutal. Yep.
Okay, well, listen. So Nick Chubb, last year, he only had the 2 games, all right? But the years before that, so 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, all over 1,000 yards. He had one season over 1,500 yards. And 2019, 8 touchdowns. 2020, 12 touchdowns. 21, he had 8 touchdowns. 22, he had 12 touchdowns. And he was averaging, this is crazy. This dude was averaging, not one of those seasons did he average less than 7 yards a carry.
That's
That's
great,
big.
but we don't even know if he's ever going to come back and run again, though.
He'll be back next season.
Okay.
Well, it's like the second time. He had this injury in college too, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a pretty bad injury. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's why it was crazy. But hey, listen, your list was pretty good. It just wasn't good enough.